I am not a developer. I don't know the first thing about coding or even how it works. I don't know the intricacies of how the cycle as a game functions. I just play the game. And now that I got that disclaimer out of the way, I'm going to tell you how to fix it. You ever have shower thoughts and think, man, that'd be really cool if this was in the game? Well, that's pretty much what this video is. I think that there's a couple of things that I would love to see in the cycle that I think would make it better. Are these things going to be implemented? Probably not. And I'm not going to tell the developers that they need to do this or need to do that. I know that they have a suggestion section in their Discord, and sometimes people come up with really good ideas, and sometimes people put up absolutely horrific ideas that are just terrible and stupid. Let me know in the comments what you think of these suggestions, and maybe even add your own suggestions in the comments. Number 1, hideout customization. This is pretty simple. Now, we're not talking about deep customization like in, say, Tarkov. Tarkov, it has to deal with stats of your character and all that type of stuff. We don't have to go down that road. We're all talking cosmetic here. It's very cosmetic, but I can only look at pizza boxes and Chinese food for so long. I just go in there when I have to. I don't actually like to spend time in there. Imagine if you could customize every aspect, every corner of your hideout. I think that would be super cool. You could theme it. If you're an Osiris fanboy, you could put Osiris wallpaper or just color everything in Osiris theme. You could have trophies on your wall. Maybe you ran a dungeon. Anything you do on the planet, you find, I don't know, Veltacite heart, and you want to put that on the wall. You can do that. I think that stuff like that would be awesome. Simple stuff. Hideout customization, I think it's very possible that would come in the future. But we'll see. Number 2, weapon crafting. Now, the only 3 weapons that you can craft right now are the legendaries. The Karma and the Comrade and the Zeus Beam. They have pretty crazy requirements to get those. But I'm thinking of weapon crafting for other weapons, like different exotics, maybe even some epic weapons. And it could work maybe something like this. For instance, you find a brute barrel somewhere on the planet. Because it's an ICA weapon, maybe you find it in a abandoned ICA facility somewhere on Bright Sands. Just the barrel. And then maybe later down the road, you find another section of the brute, maybe the stock, maybe the trigger, maybe something like that. Let's say it takes about 5 pieces. Once you collect all 5 pieces, you can then go into your hideout at your weapons bench, which is currently just sitting there doing nothing, looking interesting. And you can then craft your own weapons. All of a sudden, you have a free brute that you can use. The same goes for any weapon. Kinetic Arbiter, a core, you can even do Advocate and Shattergun, any weapon I think would be great. So it would just add to the loot pool, like, oh man, he's got a Arbiter bolt or something. You can collect Arbiter pieces. Once you collect all the pieces, you can craft a Kinetic Arbiter. That kind of stuff I think would be super interesting. Number 3, a hunting system. Now this one is pretty complex. Hunting creatures on the planet can almost be like a profession. You get specific, we already have hunting missions that can be dished out by Osiris or even ICA, go kill however many mobs at base camp or whatever. But you can get specific. Get specific hunting missions where the main goal is about the creatures of the planet that really delves into PvE. You can have things like rewards along the way. So say you kill 100 rattlers I'm just throwing that out there. There can be a specific mission that you get, whatever mission that is finished, and then you're rewarded with something like a rattler skin for your character. And that skin can go for anything, Striders or Crushers even, or Jeffs. I can imagine running around with a Crusher skin. You got like the Crusher head as a helmet or something, I don't know. Alternatively, there could be a capture feature. So if you remember like the balloon system in Metal Gear Solid 5, where someone would be unconscious, you strap a balloon to him and it takes him up, it'd be something like that. Not exactly, but this is just to get the creative thought process going. Maybe it's something similar to a oil pump or a drill, where to extract a live creature from the planet, you would have to first incapacitate them, and then you can call in the whatever to scoop them up and get them out of there. Now, if you're successful with extracting, say, a fully intact Crusher, you just reap all the rewards that a Crusher has to offer. So like the hide and the flesh, and you get a head. If it's an Alpha Crusher, you get the heart, you get every piece, as opposed to it being kind of up in the air. Like, it takes longer to do that process, but if you can complete the process, you get everything that has to offer. There's a section in the center of the station, and I think it had something to do, I think the early iteration of the cycle is where this came into play. I barely played the first iteration. I think someone in chat had mentioned it, that it was a part of the old one. I don't know what it's for. It's not used for anything. So every time I looked at it, I thought, this kind of looks like where you would get hunter missions. There's a leaderboard looking thing on the back of it. Maybe you have who's been killing the most crushers or who's been killing the most Jeffs. You just have almost like a leaderboard going. The Hunter's Lodge or something type place. That could be cool. If they repurposed that into kind of a Hunter's Lodge and kind of had a PvE focused section, I think that would add significant content to the game. If you want to, you can actually go a little deeper than that. Give quality ranks to drops from creatures. So the Hardened Bone from Jeff. Higher quality gets you better K marks and stuff like that. Now, how do you go about implementing this in the current build of Cycle? Not a clue. How would they do it to suit the future vision of the Cycle? Not a clue. But I think it'd be kind of cool to see something like that. I think that'd be cool. Number 4, firing range or team deathmatch. So one of the big things new players are going to find themselves needing a lot of is target practice, okay? The number one way to get good at this game is to play the game. You just go in. You just get used to how weapons are, how movement is, how controls go. Firing range, I think, would help with that a lot, obviously. I think that they've even talked about adding a firing range. I don't think that would be that difficult. But another thing I think would be fun is an alternative game mode strictly for PvP. Something like a simple team deathmatch or even like a search and destroy type game mode. I think would be really fun to play in the Cycle. I know a lot of people may hate that idea, but we could probably use a mode like that right now. Imagine for a moment, team deathmatch. Being able to pick from low to mid to high tier gear, 5v5 using white gear and ARs and shotties, or a mid-tier match. Blue kits, phasics, and ICA guarantees. I think that those types of matchups could be really fun. And it's going to help players understand how weapons and certain types of gear work together. Of course, all this can be learned by just playing the game as it is, but still, team deathmatch I think could be kind of fun. And the last thing I thought about was, why don't they move the Forge to your hideout? You know, I've had plenty of stuff to get forged, but I never took the time to kit up full exo, go down into Tharis and get to the forge. Hopefully I find the right ingredients to beef up my kit. I haven't done any serious research on what ingredients I need and in what order I need to put them in and all that stuff. I have no clue. And I think that this could help give more people a chance to get forged armors while not making it a handout. So you still would have to make it out of Tharis with the ingredients, you know, with your ore or whatever. And once you get that stuff, you can then forge your gear, and it would just kind of be, now again, there's a lot of things to consider when doing this type of things. Balancing, you know, is everybody just going to run Tharis and get all the, you know, I don't know how much of a deterrent it is that you have to go down into Tharis to get forged gear. All I know is I just haven't really bothered with it. You know, if I'm running an exo kit, more than likely on Tharis, I'm running a solo. I'm going to run into a team of 3. I'm going to run into somebody full exo who's way better at it than I am. They're going to shred me, and then I'm just out an exo kit, and that's it. That's just kind of like my thought process. But if you move it to the hideout, then the only thing you got to worry about is getting in. Maybe you hide the better ingredients deeper into Tharis. That way there's not a complete waste of going deep. Like, there's an actual reason to go, is to find the stuff that you need to then get out and forge. But that's just, again, these are the shower thoughts. If you haven't checked out the Discord where they're giving suggestions, I would definitely check it out, because some of them are actually pretty good and are generally well received by the community. And there are some that are pretty hilarious, because it's like, anybody who's got a bunch of exo kits has a bounty on their head, and we know where they are at all times, and if you kill them, you get K marks, and everybody just obliterates that type of suggestion, and it's pretty hilarious. That kind of stuff I think is funny, but it's good to get into the conversation. But what are your suggestions? What are some suggestions that you think would be beneficial for the game's future? They've already got free loadouts coming. They've shown us that. I think that's a great addition. Somebody had mentioned that a while ago, I think. I don't know if they used that specific suggestion as influence, this, or if they saw it from Hunt Showdown, we're like, that's a pretty good way to do things. I'm not sure how they came about it, but that's a great system that they're going to implement. And I think that stuff like that needs to be suggested, and just keep the suggestions coming. We got Dark and Darker coming up pretty soon. I think in like a week. February 6th, Dark and Darker comes back, so we're going to be playing a lot of that. But we're also going to be playing Cycle. We're still playing Cycle. I got a Hammer video coming up. Yeah, just stay tuned. We're going to get some more content up there. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.